What's up, Gage of Chaos? So, for years, my girlfriend has said to me, "You've written so much awesome stuff. Why don't you just self-publish it and get it out there?" And for so long, I said, "Nay, can't do that. To do that, you need to have a professional cover. You need to have a website. You need to have an email list. You need to have money to go into marketing and all these other resources." Sometimes it seems like when you're reading on how to get started in self-publishing, that there's an insurmountable amount of stuff that you need to get started, especially if you don't have a lot of money. But eventually I listened to her, and 2 months ago I published a couple of short stories, and then a month and a half ago I put my series on the Kindle Vella. Since it's been on the Kindle Vella, it's, at the time of me making this video, ranked 32nd out of all of the series on there. It's gotten tons of reads, unlocks, thumbs ups, and it's looking like my bonus is about to be about the same amount that I was making at a full-time job. And I did all that on a $0 budget. Today I want to go over how I got the series going on a $0 budget, how I've made it successful, and what my next plans are. So let's dive into this, folks. So if you're new here and you find this video useful, please hit like and subscribe. In the comments, if you're a new writer, let me know what you think about the stuff that I'm going to be talking about in this episode. And if you're an established writer, let me know if you think I'm on the right track. So my first month publishing on the Vella was very successful. That's meaningless. In the long run, it's meaningless unless I continue to build on that momentum, gain a readership, and start now putting money into it. I started with zero, but it was never my goal to not spend any money on my writing. I need to rebrand, I need to get a new cover, I need to pay for advertising. There's a lot of stuff that I'm going to have to put money in. But to start, I didn't have anything. The first thing I did was build a cover. I did that by just going online, looking for public domain pictures. You have to look and make sure that it says it's free for commercial use and that no attribution is necessary. For me, I never loved the cover that I had. I was looking for something that had a winter theme to it and that had a lot of bright colors. I personally like bright colors for covers. I think that they stand out and really catch the reader's eye when they're going through lists of thumbnails. Then I went to Canva, which is an app that you can use the free version of. They do have a pro version, but I use the free version. And there they have a whole section of book covers that you can use as a template. You can put your picture in it and you can add the text. On Kindle Vella, you don't even need text. I used it for mine because, like I said, I don't love my picture. I think the colors stand out, but the picture is a little bit indescript. So I thought adding the title would just help it stand out a little bit more. Once I get a professional cover, which I have someone working on right now, I won't have that title in there. Next up is editing. You're going to want to have that as professionally edited as possible. If you don't have a lot of money, then find some beta reading groups or some community of writers and people that can help you with that. You don't want to just go to your family and friends, especially ones who are going to toot your own horn and tell you how great you did. You want people who can criticize you and correct what needs to be corrected. I'm going to be working with professional editors moving forward, but I had a good group of people who read my stuff before I put it out, and they caught a lot of stuff and was able to get things fixed before I released my episodes. There were still some mistakes that slipped through. The good thing on the Kindle Vella platform is you can go back and correct those things once they're published. But don't let that make you lazy. You don't want your first readers to get a lesser version of your story. Try and make sure it's perfect the first time. I still don't have a website or an email list. I'm working on that. Those are important things to have, of course. But I just couldn't afford them at first, and I have someone who's working on my website now. Hopefully it'll be out in the next couple weeks, and with that I'll have an email list that I'll get going as well. I signed up for BookFunnel and a couple other programs like that that'll help me build that newsletter, and that is money that I did spend, but not until this week. I literally just did that this week. For marketing and promoting, I've just used social media. Anyone who's on my social media will tell you I never shut the hell up about winter's myths. Sure, it probably annoys some people, and there's probably some people who don't follow me, but I've gained a lot of readers that way, and there's people who I've been friends with for a long time who weren't reading my story, and then 3 or 4 weeks in, after I've been publishing Winter's Myth stuff every day for weeks and weeks and weeks, finally saw it and said, "Oh, I didn't know you had a thing out," because the algorithms work in a certain way where it's easy for people to miss it. So if you're not posting every day, if you're not shouting from the rooftops about your story, there's a good chance that there's people who are very interested in reading what you wrote that won't see it. So that's pretty much how I did it all for free to get started. Now, how did I get to where I'm at? It's important to note that this was just a good month. It doesn't necessarily mean anything in the long run of things, but I think it's a good launching point for me, and I think that if I can continue with that momentum, I'm in a really good place. I'm not taking it for granted. I don't think, well, now things are going well, I can take it a little easy. Just the opposite. Now I need to work harder. And now that I have some money coming in, I need to start spending some money. I need to brand, I need to market. Like I said, I hired an artist who's gonna be working on the cover for me. I can't exactly tell you how I found success because I don't know myself. I'm new and I'm just trying things and seeing what works. But I can tell you what my philosophy is and what I'm trying to accomplish and how I'm trying to accomplish that. And I think that hopefully that will be able to give you some idea of where I'm finding the success. Going into Kindle Vella, I didn't want to just put up 4 or 5 episodes and then try and find readers. And by readers, I mean people I don't know who aren't authors who like to read. I think that's ultimately the holy grail of what everyone wants to find, their core reader group. But for me, starting out, I thought, I'm gonna throw up 4 episodes of this thing on the Kindle Vella. It's not gonna have any likes, it's not gonna have anything. If I market this out to a bunch of people who don't know me, they're gonna go click on it, see that, and say, maybe another time. So the first place I wanted to start was with my family and friends. I don't wanna look at my family and friends as this thing I can use to get started. And I think a lot of writers do that, where they say, oh, you're my friend, you're supposed to like this. I saw somebody recently share a meme. It had the Michael and Pam from The Office on it, and in this scenario, Pam was playing the writer, and Michael was playing the friend or family member. And he said, hey, I read your book, I really liked it. And she was like, oh, cool, did you give it a review? And he said, no. And then she said, did you tell your friends about it? Did you share it? And he said, no. And the whole point of this meme was to say, like, oh, look at this friend, he's not doing all the stuff he could be doing. And I thought that was so ungrateful and horrible. That's not how you should be treating your friends. Anything that they do for you should be appreciated. They're taking time out of their busy day to support you in any way that they can. I have a friend who I know he doesn't read the stuff that I write, but he shares my posts, and that's awesome. Like, that's the coolest thing in the world. You need to be grateful for your family and friends, and you need to make them know that. They're on this journey with me. And I say that to them all the time. This is my dream, and the support that you guys give me is the reason that it could possibly come true. So I owe you guys everything. And they need to know that, and they need to feel that all the time. I constantly tell them whenever I hit a new milestone or set a new goal and I hit it, I say to them, you guys did this for me. You're making my dream come true. This is our journey, and I'm so thankful that you're on it with me. And I mean that. I've got a friend, Jason, on my Facebook who I knew him in high school. We've seen each other like a handful of times since then, and he's constantly supporting me in whatever way he can. And I'm never gonna forget him. He's gonna get thanked in something that I write. When I publish stuff in physical book form, he's gonna get a copy every time. They need to know that they're on this journey with you. It's not just, hey, support me, without ever doing anything back for them. The thing you need to lay out for your family and friends is what your goal is, how they can help you achieve that goal, and what their role is on that journey. They deserve more than a thanks. Like, show them love and show them care the way they're doing for you, and be grateful for whatever they do. If they read your stuff but they don't like it, don't go hound them about it. They're supporting you. If they don't read your stuff but they share your post, that's awesome. They're supporting you. People are busy. People have their own lives. People can't just be worried about your project all the time. So whatever they do for you, you need to show them how much you care about them and how much that means to you. So the next step for me, after I went to my family and friends and tried to get their support, was to move on to the authors. Kindle Vella is a new platform. It's still got a huge base of authors who are reading other authors. I started with my family, and then I went to the author pages, the support pages, the author groups, the promotion pages, things like that. And what I went in there and did is supported them. And I did that not really looking to necessarily gain anything for myself. I did hope that would happen as well, but for me, I want to support the platform because the platform is new, and if the platform doesn't succeed, we don't succeed. So I went in and I found the authors that I liked, whose stories I thought were really good, and I supported them. And then eventually I found a group of people who sort of connected with me and I become friends with, and we all help each other out, we all read each other's stuff, and we get support from that. Another thing I've done is I've gone onto the page and I've said, hey, I got a bunch of tokens. I want to read your guys' stuff. If you guys need a boost, let me help you out. I want to support you. And I always make it a point to say on there is no need to reciprocate. If you want to check out my story, here it is. And I do that for 2 reasons. One, I don't think it's right to say, I'll support you, but only if you support me. I don't like that. I think that's gross. If you don't want to support me, I mean it. Don't. That's fine. I'm not asking you to. And second, I want to gain real readers. I want people who say, oh, this guy was nice. Let me check out his story. This seems like a story I'm going to like. I'm going to read it. Because if you're just going to throw up 3 thumbs ups on my story and then walk away, the only way I'm going to get you back is if I go back and support you again, and that's unsustainable. I see people do that, and I think it's a really bad method where they'll say, hey, you come read 3 of my chapters, I'll read 3 of yours. Read 5 of mine, I'll read 5 of yours. I'll read what you read of mine, and I don't think that's a good system. First of all, I don't think it's nice, and second of all, it's not sustainable. The only way you're going to get that person to keep reading is if you keep reading theirs, and it doesn't need to be equal like that. I have friends who have 50 episodes of their story up. I only have 20. I'm not waiting until I get to 50 to read their 50. I'll read their 50 because I want to read their 50. I think it's silly to keep tabs. And again, the more that authors are getting help, the more they appreciate the platform, the more they're going to brag about that platform, and the more they're bragging about the platform is going to bring in readers. It helps everyone. When a new author comes onto one of those pages and says, hey, I'm brand new, I just put up my first 3 episodes, I would love it if someone could read it. I always go in, read their episodes, and if I liked it, I comment and say, hey, I read your episode, I'm following your story, and I gave you all the thumbs up. And I don't even mention that I have a story on there, because I don't want this new person to come in and be like, oh my God, all these people are throwing their stories at me. That's overwhelming, and it's a lot for them, and I don't think they need that. So I kind of like just went in being supportive and being helpful, and I think a lot of people really appreciated that, so they started checking out my work. And some of them checked it out and didn't like it, and they didn't keep reading, and it doesn't matter. I didn't expect to get anything out of it anyway. I'm still going to support their work if I like their story. The same way I buy a novel from Stephen King knowing he's never going to buy anything I wrote. We have to take care of the community. And now I said at the beginning that I had a $0 budget. I have gone and bought tokens, and that has helped me find author readers. But you don't have to do that. If you don't have the money for tokens, I think it's perfectly fine to just read people's first 3 chapters and use some of your free tokens where you can to unlock a couple more on the stories you really like. You can only do what's within your means. I don't think anyone's doing anything wrong by only reading the first 3 if that's all they can do. But I don't think if you're going to read people's first 3, you should say to them, now you got to read mine. I just don't think it's a nice way to be. The other thing I do is I plaster my social media with my story. Like I said, I know it annoys people, but it doesn't annoy everyone. I always try and make it fun. I make a fun little video using Canva, the free app that I was telling you about earlier. I use that, and I make a fun video for every chapter I release. And I release 3 a week. And I always make a fun little teaser video that gives them something out of what's going to happen in that episode. In my one that I just posted, I said, hey everyone, new episode's out now. After the shocking events of the last episode, what's going to happen now? That's a good little teaser, because people who read that last episode, they want to know what's going to happen now, and people who didn't are going to say, what's this shocking event? And they're going to go try and check out the story from the beginning. The other important thing with the author group is you should treat them the same exact way that you treated your family and friends. If they're throwing you support, they don't have to do that. They're busy trying to make their own stories work. So you need to show them the thanks and appreciation the same way you did with your family and friends. You need to let them know, hey, you're helping me build this dream, just the way that you have your people who are helping you build your dream. And I appreciate you. You're the reason that this is happening for me. And they need to feel that too. And the same is true for the last group, the readers. That's the holy grail. That's what we're all looking for. I found some. I don't have a ton yet, but I found some, and I'm going to find more as I move on to more marketing and doing things like that, bringing in readers from outside the platform. That's where you're going to have to start spending money. That's where you're going to start looking at using Facebook to make ads, book funnels, doing all those sorts of things. But what I'm going to do once I start bringing in readers is the same exact thing. Treat them like I do my family and friends. Let them know, hey, I'm new at this. This is amazing that you came out and supported my story. We're on this journey together. I love to say that. I think it's important because I want people to know that. I don't feel like I'm doing this alone. Every time I have a success, I think about my group. I think about the Emily Marashes and the Justines and all these people who have supported me from the beginning that are always rooting for me. I think about them too because I know they're happy for me, and I want to share that with them. I want them to feel that happiness too. And that's the same with any reader that I bring in right now from the start. They're helping me grow, and I want them to know that we're a squad now. That Agents of Chaos thing that I say all the time. I like that because they're part of my group. They're part of my family now. They're helping me become they're making my dreams come true. Like, how incredible is that? And I will spend ludicrous amounts of time telling them that. Some other strategies that I use, I keep a log, I write it down. I know you're gonna say to yourself, why don't you just use an Excel sheet? And the reason why is because I hate Excel sheets. And the reason I became a writer is so I would never have to use an Excel sheet, okay? So I write down my goals for how many reads I get, how many unlocks I get, how many likes I get. I don't write down anything about crowns because A, you can't know how many you got, and B, crowns will come or they won't. I'll mention crowns in my Facebook post. Hey, it's a new week. Did winter deserve a crown from you? But that's about as far as I go with crowns. And I look at these and I have a monthly goal that I break down into daily numbers. And then I just see where I'm at. I write down if it's a good day or if it's a bad day. This is a total waste of time that I could be using on writing, but I do find it useful because then I can know, all right, on this day, I did not hit my numbers. What did I do differently? On this day, I went double my numbers. What did I do differently? And I can assess and change things up. If I'm on a day that's going really slow, I'll think about what I can post on social media that might get me a few more reads to build that up. All I'm doing right now is posting on my social media. That's entirely how I'm getting stuff. And I started like on Instagram, I had like 100 subscribers to start. I think I only have like 150 now. So I make reels and things like that can go out to the world. I started a TikTok. I have no idea how to use TikTok. I have a couple crappy videos up right now, but I started it because it's a tool and it's free, and I'm gonna try and make it work eventually. I'm gonna figure it out and start using that as well, and just build readers wherever you can, however you can, constantly, as often as you can. Just make sure it's engaging, just make sure it's fun in whatever way you think is fun. Make your personality stand out and make that what people are seeing. I also like to share my short-term goals, and I see a lot of authors doing this, and I think they're doing a great job with it, where you have 297 likes on your story. You post that and say, oh, I'm almost 300. Who's gonna help me get to 300? And then people will jump on and they'll read your story and they'll give you those likes. I think it's a fun way to do it, and it makes people feel part of that journey. Like I said earlier, feeling part of that journey. They said, oh, she needs help on this. I'm gonna be one of the people to help her get there. It's a cool feeling. It's a great feeling to know you're helping somebody reach a goal that they have. So keep hitting those goals, keep setting them to where you can go next, make it realistic, and look at your day-to-day and say, okay, I wanna hit 1,000 reads for the month. That means I need to get 32 a day. What can I do to get 32 today? And then work on that and say it outright. Hey guys, I have a goal for today. I want to get a certain number of reads. Who's interested in reading this? I think it's important to do that as well, to always say like, who's interested in reading this? Because like, yeah, it's great to get some people who just give you the thumbs up to get you over those goals. But again, that's a short-term win. It's not a long-term win. You want people who are really interested in reading what you're writing, so that when you post the next chapter, you don't have to try and get them back again. They're already there. So I like to do that a lot too. I like to say, if you're interested in reading this, if you want to support this, if you like dystopian, blah, blah, blah. So that's all the advice that I got for today, guys. If you're a new author or you're just about to put something on the Kindle Vella, please leave a comment with what your story is. I would love to check it out and give you some support. In fact, if for any author that's using the Kindle Vella platform, I don't mind you using my comment section as a little self-promotion tool. Drop your story title down there and hopefully some other people will come check it out and give you a click. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for the platform. I'm rooting for all of us. We're all in this together. And like I said, I'm trying to build myself a community, people who want to go on this journey with me. So hit like and subscribe. Look me up on social media. Look up Winter's Myth. Connect with me. Talk to me. I love meeting new people. So hit me up. Let's be pals.